leadership has become this almost unattainable, aspirational notion in companies. And it doesn't have to be. It's all about how you show up in the moment. The action is in the interaction. In the briefest of moments, you can have a powerful impact. I'll use a simple example. I was in graduate school at the J.L. Kellogg School of Management at Northwestern University. I was in my first year, and I was working 2 jobs. I was going to school full time. And my schoolwork began to slip, and one of my professors pulled me aside, and he called me, he said, "Doug, could you come over here for a minute?" All he said to me was, "You can do better." Now, he had, in 4 well-timed words, at a place where I could hear them, had a profound impact on me. He never needed to say those words to me again. I did better. I didn't do great. I did better. And I vividly remember that conversation 35 years later. It had a profound impact on how I think about, I can do better. I think everyone has memories of those brief encounters, 4 words, 6 words, 10 words, that had a profound influence on the way they think about the world. And we think every leader has the opportunity to do that every day in some meaningful way in an interaction, where they can begin to lift people up one at a time. And over time, you've got the whole population being lifted up.
The time is different today. There's recent evidence out of a study done at UC Irvine that the average knowledge worker has at the most 4 minutes of uninterrupted time a day. So we live in a time where the pace is just different. It's the text messages, it's the email, it's the shareware, it's the meeting, we're in and out. And what we need to learn to do, in this information age, which in my experience to many leaders feels like an interruption age, what we need to do is we need to learn to have influence in shorter spurts of time and many more of them. We need to be able to engage very quickly, very specifically, and either use that opportunity to provide more clarity, more commitment, more confidence, because the work is done in these very brief interactions. And one thing I can promise leaders today is that there's only, the interactions are going to get shorter and you're going to have more of them. And so what has tended to happen, because we have this notion that real leadership sort of requires this time away from people where I can think about important matters, we're getting distracted and we're treating these interactions as if they're mosquitoes. It's like 1 is good, or 1 we can handle, 2 begins to get irritating, 3 we get really upset, 5 we begin to flee them, but the fact is, they're not like mosquitoes or swarms of mosquitoes. These are the interruptions to create a little more clarity, a little more confidence, a little more commitment, so that we can help people move forward faster.
About it is, think about a time when someone with a few well-chosen words at the right time had a powerful impact on you. And what a important moment that was for you. A father, a mother, an aunt, an uncle, a pastor, a teacher. And you think about that, and wouldn't you like to have that kind of impact on the people with whom you work? And you say, well, yeah. To me, that is a powerful aspiration. And so you want to have that kind of impact with people. And the beauty of TouchPoints is you can, and it's so approachable. It's in a brief encounter. You don't have to plan it for 3 days and then have just the right setting and have this great breakthrough conversation. It's saying you can do better to someone in a genuine, caring way so that they'll remember it for the rest of their lives. That's a powerful aspiration, but still very approachable.
The system basically is a very simple framework you have in your mind that says, when I choose to take the next touch point and use it well, it starts with a very simple question. And then we go into what we call the TouchPoint triad, which is 3 things you do. And then it finishes with a very simple question. So it's just, even if you just remember the first question, that'll take you a long way of the way. So I think that question is just one that's been so profound to you, Doug, that...
Yeah. When you go into every moment, we suggest people either ask in their own minds or openly with the person, how can I help? And what that does is takes you from exclusively communicating what you want as the leader to inclusively having a conversation about what the other people need or want. And then as you ask that question, how can I help? You then listen intently, which is the first step. You then create the context and you frame the issue. And then finally, you advance the issue in some meaningful way. So it's listen, frame, advance, listen, frame, advance. It's a very manageable process. It does take a long time to become very astute at it, because you have to listen carefully, and you have to frame carefully, and you have to advance carefully. But when you do that, you can get to a point where you can be highly effective in the moment. We view all of this work, all of the work as a leader, it's just a complex sequence of interactions. Interaction to interaction to interaction every day. And how you maximize the impact of those individual interactions and then connect them over time. So as you break it down that way, you find that it is once again very approachable and very manageable, because you're breaking it down into these small pieces that we're all built to manage.